Well, hello everyone. We're so happy that you're with us today, and we want to thank all of our new viewers for actually contacting us. We are getting response from so many of you, especially in New Mexico and different parts of Texas we've never heard from before. And we believe you're bringing us down by satellite, or people are telling you to go on YouTube and see our program, which you can do by going to YouTube/Insight USA TV. You need to keep up with our program. This today, I'm going to share some things with you that most people would never say, but it's time for facts. You know, I send out a prayer letter every week to hundreds of intercessors, and they have teams, and they also have mates. So we are action intercessors. We are patriotic intercessors, and we know why we're praying. We know who we're praying for. We know what the Lord has called us to do, because this nation, this God-blessed nation, is under siege. I called a prayer ministry that I've been getting emails from, and I work with prayer leaders. I try to equip prayer leaders nationwide to be more effective with their prayer teams and their prayer calls, because I can't do it all. You can't do it all. That's why God set up leaders. And I get emails from different ones on a regular basis, and if they have information that we can use to educate our intercessors with Insight, our national prayer network, we do it. And I'm going to tell you about that in just a minute. Stay tuned. Well, I'm calling people to action, and praise God, many are coming. Every Saturday, I host a briefing and prayer call at 2 p.m. Eastern Time with prayer warriors nationwide. We have the most effective, the most informed, the most anointed, and insightful prayer warriors with this ministry in this nation. It is amazing. I try to keep the call to 2 hours, but it's almost impossible. This last week, they were going into 3 hours, and I had to stop the call, and nobody says the same thing twice. It is unbelievable how God is showing us exactly what to believe for and what to pray for and how to pray that our nation will come back to God. We don't need to come back to a Republican Party. We sure don't need the Democrat Party. We need a nation that's coming back to God. And our intercessors cut through all the rhetoric, all the junk, all of the propaganda, and we know exactly what God is saying for us to do, and we do it. There's a lot of you out there today. You say, Faye, I don't know how to pray. I've never been told I was supposed to pray. I've been in a denomination that only the pastor prays right before the service and when it ends, and that's the end of the prayers. And then there's other ministries that teach prayer. They have books on prayer. I've seen them and read a lot of them, but they don't say anything. If you're not going to have an answer to that prayer, why pray? And I called a ministry this week. I get their emails. I won't name it because I'm not going to do that, but I get their emails, and I've been very impressed with the prayer emails. And then I went on the website. I found out they had written several books on prayer, and I was really impressed. I thought, boy, this is a leader that if they would put, I didn't know it was a she at the time, if they would put My Faith Facts, which is our weekly prayer letter that I personally write, I edit, I research it, and it's by the Spirit of God. The Lord many nights shows me exactly what he wants in this prayer letter. It deals with issues of the day, but it deals with the biblical consequences of what's going to happen if America don't take a stand for God. And our intercessors know the issues. They know who it is that will make and put America and our Constitution in jeopardy. There's so much propaganda now. I won't say how many percent, but a large percentage of the people don't know the difference between good and evil. They don't know the difference between propaganda and truth, and they don't want to know. Now you can say, oh, that's just people who don't go to, no, that's people who are in church. That's people who want a compromised lifestyle. That's people who want to pass the buck and just think 2 songs, 3 taps, and a shout on Sunday morning is all God wants out of them. I was talking to this prayer leader that I told you that I get her emails, or their email, I guess it's a her, so that I could tell her where she could find all of the research of hours that I spend in of information that would educate her intercessors and call them to a deeper understanding of why we've got to call this nation back to God. And they did answer the phone, which they don't usually do, but that one did. And it was the bookkeeper. And I asked for the leader, or whatever it is, and it was a woman, and she said that she was working on a website and she didn't have time to talk, but what did I really want? And I said, well, I write a prayer newsletter, and I said I lead a patriotic prayer network, and I said we're praying for America. And she said, oh, well, we can't get into that. She said, we're nonpartisan. I said, excuse me? Oh, we don't get into issues like that because we're nonpartisan. I said, well, I don't mean to offend you, but I said, there is no such thing. You're either stand for life, and you're standing in the gap as the Bible commands us to do, or you just got a conversation going with somebody and you're talking about praying. You're talking about God. You're not really talking to God, because God does not hear a sinner's prayer. And if you haven't really taken a stand for God, then where are you spiritually? And she said, well, I don't really know what you want. I said, I'd like for that leader to be educated, that she can use accurate information to help us believe God, that in a few weeks, that America will come back to God and will choose life. I said, we've got a president right now that's taking an unconditional stand for Christianity, an unconditional stand for life. And I said, if the people who say they're Christians don't do the same thing, I said, even Jesus couldn't work in Capernaum. He couldn't work where there's unbelief. And I said, well, I'm going to give you my information. If you want to check it out, fine. But I said, I'm really surprised that you don't take an unconditional stand for life, and I don't have time to talk to you anymore. Friends, that's where we've got 35 million Christians, evangelical Christians, that are not registered to vote. So when somebody else tells you they are nonpartisan, don't you believe a word of it. So those of you out there say, Faye, I've never prayed, but I want to pray. I don't really know what's going on, but I want to know. You're the ones. You are my action group. You're the people I want to hear from. You're the people I would like for you to email me. My address is on the screen. Write me. Become a partner with our ministry, that we can get the truth to the people of this nation. Sin kills and destroys. I just wrote a couple of weeks ago the face facts on the rioting, and it's domestic terrorism. We don't have protesters. These are domestic terrorists with the intent of overthrowing our government. Now, I'm not telling you who to vote for. I'm not telling you to be a Democrat or a Republican, because that's up to you. But let me tell you, if you are a Democrat, and if you choose for America to be burned down and churches to be burned down, these are Democrats. If you choose for our small businesses to be closed while abortion goes on, those are Democrats. If you choose for riots to be in the street based on what they say is a racist problem, that's a Democrat. You vote Democrat because that's what you want to do. If you want to see babies aborted up until the day they're supposed to be born, the brain sucked out of their heads, then vote Democrat. But if you want to see Nancy Pelosi, who literally, one of the pastors that was on Sunday morning says Ahab and Jezebel are running our nation. They've done nothing but try to take over our government for 4 years. They've done everything they could do, but God, praise God, has intervened in the takeover for 4 years. The election coming up, they're going to try to take over our election by bombarding this nation with ballots that anybody could copy, anybody could falsely vote on. So if you want the Democrats to overthrow our election that would make Nancy Pelosi the president, then you vote Democrat. But I'm going to give you another choice. You need to know that the Democrat Party today is not the Democrat Party of 10 years ago. In 1970, there was a group of anarchists that began to take over the Democrat Party so they could take over our nation. And they could make laws that would rule out God. So I want you to know what you're choosing, but you don't have to. You don't have to believe people who don't seek the truth. You don't have to stand with people who don't care if the babies are aborted, as long as they get what they want that's free. I had in my Face Facts last week an article that was sent to me from the Lubbock paper, and it's called "This is Insanity." I want to read this article to you because it actually, I've never seen so many facts in such a short article. So don't go away. I'll be right back. Well, hello, partners and friends. I just want to take a minute. Time goes so fast on our program. We could do 3 or 4 or 5 shows with just the time we take to do this one if we were able to afford the airtime and the production time. And that's why I'm asking you, please help us get our message out. The offer that we're making today with this book is a must-read book. You're going to have hope. You're going to know that God's not done. You're going to know that Satan is bound over our country, and we are going to win. But we have to fight till the end. I love America so much. I've traveled all over the world, stood on Hitler's bunker, which was a bungee jump when I'm there. I'm told it's a parking lot now. And I know that God has great plans for our children. Revival is coming. Will you sow an action seed today of $100 or more and help us reach the youth? Well, we're going to go back because our Face Facts in August, I believe it was August 17th. August the 17th. The title was God Exposes to Destroy the Works of the Devil. And this is one of the most awesome facts I've ever written, because what's happening in our country now that's causing the riots causing the people's businesses to be destroyed, causing innocent people to be murdered, causing kids to be shot. And I said, if you can put a man on the moon, and they are saying now they're going to put a flag on Mars, and you can take down ISIS, and you can take down the terrorist leaders in the Middle East, we can't stop the violence in our streets. But the reason the violence is in the streets is because we have a constitution, and the authority over those cities belongs to the mayor. And the mayor is under subjection to the governors. So where there are Democrat mayors, Democrat governors, and so much crime, and it's domestic terrorists, they are not protesters. And I did a face facts on protesters August the 17th, and it said God exposes, and this is John 3:8, exposes to destroy the works of the devil. And Debbie McDaniel wrote an article that I thought was fantastic. She said, in all that swims around us today, from the top headline news stories to day-to-day struggles, I am aware more than ever we are in a battle in this life. We face an active enemy every single day that we are here, and we may not see it, but we might forget. It's easy to lose focus and to get distracted on things that don't really matter. But the truth is, spiritual forces are still at work. Every wise soldier knows he must do one thing to get him through a battle, to take him into tomorrow. Know who the enemy is. And her article is so excellent, but you have to ask for August 17th, Face Facts. I've sent them out first class mail, but it's also posted on our website, insightUSA.us, and our Facebook page. So if you want to read the entire, it's thick. So you can go there and find out who set the foundation for what is going on in America right now. How did the people that are burning down our cities, that are destroying people's businesses, that are killing innocent people, that are marching on our nation's capital, that are attacking everybody that don't agree with them, and they don't care what position they hold. I just watched Washington, D.C. after the Republican National Convention. I watched Washington, D.C., and I said, you know what? We can put a man on the moon, but we can't control our streets. There's something really, really wrong with this picture, and God told me they're calling them protesters, but they are domestic terrorists. They should not be under the control of a mayor. They should be under the control of our national law enforcement officers, and we need to know where their money's coming from. We need to know where they are coming from, and we need to know if they want to overthrow this government, and that's treason, people. But if you say anything, if you deal with it, then you're immediately accused of being a racist. You can't do this. You've got to let them burn down the cities. You got to let them burn down the churches. You got to let them shoot each other. Because if you say anything, then the protesters are going to be offended. Protesters squat. Let me tell you what. In Germany, it took protesters. And in this Face Facts, August the 17th, which is now up on our website, you really need to go look at it. I want to show you what the protesters, I have pictures of it, because Adolf Hitler used the same tactics that Bernie Sanders and George Soros are using in this country, and Nancy Pelosi and Chuck Schumer and the entire secular media just about is pulling off the organizations, and they are covering up the crime and those that are committing the crime. And George Soros has funded attorney generals that refuse to prosecute murderers, thieves, rebels. And that's exactly what happened in Germany. I have you a typical campaign scene, Nazi posters displayed next to the center party of the communists and socialists. And what you see are protesters. Hitler started with protesters to get Germany through the propaganda machine, but he had to come get Christians on board, which they did. The Christians united with Hitler. He took communion on Sunday morning. And our people today, they are saying that God told them. And what you have to understand is we're not fighting a party. The names of the terrorists come under organizations like Antifa and Black Lives Matter and many, many more funded by George Soros, who needs to be totally investigated for trying to overthrow our government. And what we need to understand, they have the youth in their hands through propaganda and lies. If we do not keep the truth going forth, they will not know the difference. That's why I've asked you to support us. We want to go live on the internet. We could go on other stations right now. We could buy ads to drive people to our website and to our YouTube and Facebook, because our information is so vital and it's from a biblical perspective. But it's not organizations that's out to get us, it's sin. And when I see the black community justifying crime, and instead of rebuking these young men and telling them, you can't break the law, you can't rape people, you can't birth babies at taxpayers' expense, you can't have the babies aborted that you created at taxpayers' expense. These young men grew up without fathers, 7 out of 10. And when they go against the policeman or they break laws, this Black Lives Matter is not telling the young people, please get an education, please go to work, please make a life. They're telling them, it's okay, you're black. Well, hello partners and friends. I just want to take a minute. Time goes so fast on our program. We could do 3 or 4 or 5 shows with just the time we take to do this one, if we were able to afford the airtime and the production time. And that's why I'm asking you, please help us get our message out. The offer that we're making today with this book is a must-read book. You're going to have hope. You're going to know that God's not done. You're going to know that Satan is bound over our country, and we are going to win, but we have to fight till the end. I love America so much. I've traveled all over the world, stood on Hitler's bunker, which was a bungee jump when I'm there. I'm told it's a parking lot now. And I know that God has great plans for our children. Revival is coming. Will you sow an action seed today of $100 or more and help us reach the youth? Well, time goes so fast, but you have to get your face facts to August 17th. Face Facts says that Joe Biden says we need to tax the rich. And I just want to show you what they're doing with their money. Over $1 trillion was spent on welfare in 2019. I put the states and how many people in those states are on welfare. What we need are for these people to go to work. We need for them to pay their own taxes. We need for them, and this crosses over gender, race, nationality, all America. Take care of yourself. And we need that message to come out loud and clear. I want for everyone that'll donate $100 this week or more, I have a book that you have to have. It's called The End of the World as We Know It, a prophetic word for entering the new era. It says, what happens over the next few hours and days, everyone remain calm. This is not the end, but only the end of the world as we know it. It is the most awesome book, and it gives the future as God says. I believe that we have many more years of harvest. I believe God is raising up laborers to go into the field of harvest. Will you donate today $1,000 if God has blessed you? Help us get our message out. Help us go viral with this information. We have people who need God. Our young people need God. It is not okay to kill people. It is not okay to rape people. It is not okay to break laws and then sue the police for arresting you. It is not okay to have babies and bill it to the taxpayers. I have this is insanity. You have to request it. August 17th, please let us hear from you. I want to thank all of our new viewers and my partners. If you can become a monthly partner, whatever God would allow you to do, will you do it today? Will you pray with us Saturdays, 2 p.m. Eastern Time? I lead a prayer and briefing call. The number is 712-0900, and you have to email me to get the access code. Our intercessor are God's best, and I am looking forward to having representatives in every state in the United States before November the 3rd. I look forward to seeing you.
Faye wants to hear from you. Her desire to see America come out of exile is raising up one of the most powerful, informed, anointed, and united prayer networks in America for America. She is organizing Christians for the U.S. Constitution to give uncompromising believers back their voice and witness. If this program has blessed you and you believe in what Faye is doing, contact her, pray with and for her, partner with her. She would love for you to host an Insight rally in your church or city. Organize an Intercessors with Insight prayer team or join one. For a complimentary pocket-sized constitution or Faye's fax, call or email Faye. faye.usainsight@gmail.com. Write Insight USA.